Hello, my friends. Time for Thought Shifting Thursday. Really excited to talk to you today. So, if you, first off, the pink elephant in the room is this shiner on my eye. Before we go any further, you might want to know how I got this. Yes, it was from my wife, but no need to call protective services. We were in the sweat lodge last week, and when she pours for the third round, she likes to splash people with water like this. And I got a little too close, and I think it was her elbow that got me really nice and solid right in the eye. So it's going away, though. It's getting better. I've got many other more important things to talk about. So I want to share with you, we've been teaching this class for the last 8 weeks, or 6 weeks. We've got 2 more weeks to go. Busting Loose from the Money Game, based on this book. And, I've been feeling, in a way, inadequate to teach the class. Not because I haven't busted loose from the money game, because I have, but because, for so long we haven't had any challenges, financially or otherwise. Everything has been going so well as a result of practicing these principles. And yet the message in the book is that our prosperity consciousness isn't based on how much money we have in the bank, our accounts, or anything like that. All that really matters is how prosperous I feel inside. So the way I've been feeling, less than, what's the best word, qualified to talk about this is because I haven't been able to bring any challenges to the table to really demonstrate how this works, to have a consciousness of abundance when it doesn't look like there's as much abundance. And so that problem has been solved. So we're having, normally with our business, we have little or no tax liability because we have a lot of write-offs with our business, and that's our major, most of our income comes from our business. Although sometimes it comes from places we never even expect. Unexpected income. One of my prayer statements is, unexpected pleasures and treasures arrive each and every day. And so our tax liability this year is going to be estimated so far from our accountant at about 50 grand, which again is about 45 to 50 grand more than we usually pay. So unexpected. And then just had some dental work done yesterday, which I'm going to talk more about in a little bit. Had this tooth pulled. And so I've got some dental work that's going to add up to anywhere between 6,000 and 12,000 added to the other. So 20 years ago, I would have been feeling like, and by the way, a lot of this tax liability came as a result of a decision that might have been questionable, and plus a mistake that I made in not selling off some investments and taking a loss, because if I had taken the loss, the liability would have been way, way less. And so, I didn't sell because, you don't lose money unless you sell, right? Anyway, more detail than you probably need to know. But, so, 20 years ago, I would have been thinking, man, I screwed up majorly to be losing this much money. 15 years ago, after having read Busting Loose, I probably would have been practicing that this is okay, but still feeling, a bit of a knot in my gut that this was a big mistake. Here's how I'm experiencing it now. And let me preface this by saying, the true test of prosperity consciousness is not feeling prosperous when it looks like there's a lot of money, or I just received a gift of $50,000 or a windfall of $50,000, or 60 in this case. The true test of prosperity consciousness is feeling prosperous when it looks like there's no money, or looks like I just lost, not that I can ever lose anything, lost $60,000. Um, and so what that means is that the only time, because it's easy, by the way, to feel prosperous when I just received an extra $60,000 I was not expecting. Um, Anyone can do that, right? The true test is to feel consciousness to feel prosperous when when it looks like there isn't as much money or I lost the money. So what that means is that the only time I can really exponentially raise my prosperity consciousness is when there has been a downturn or when it looks like there's lack. So here's how I'm playing with this, or here's how it's unfolded for me. So at the beginning of the course, my intention was, I feel like, we're very prosperous. We have way more than what we need. Our income tends to be more than our expenses these days. Wasn't true even, probably 5 years ago, but that, it just continues to expand. And so, interestingly enough, I thought, but playing with this teaching, and that we are unlimited beings, that we have the ability to manifest whatever we want with the snap of our fingers. Some of the phrasings in the book, I thought, wow, we really could be playing at an even higher level of prosperity experience. And the only reason we need to do that is so that we could give away more, because that's the only reason to have more money at this point, is to be able to give more away. And we already give away a lot. So, so what I thought might happen then as a result of that intention to play at a higher level of game is that we would have more money come in to be able to play with it more. And but here's the thing about the teaching, is that whatever we're experiencing in our life is always the perfect thing. It's being created by our expanded self, our soul self, in order to serve us in the best way possible. And so, I've been telling that to the students and people who are maybe having financial challenges in the class. May not find it as easy to trust that or believe that as we do, having had our finances evolve over the years as a result of practicing these principles. So I thought that, wow, we're going to have even more windfalls. And yet my soul knew that the perfect way to expand my consciousness, prosperity consciousness, was to have it look like we have a downturn of, let's say, $60,000. Now, we've been able to play with this consciousness at lower levels. If, we had expenses that we weren't expecting I shared in the previous video, of, let's say, $8,000. We were able to celebrate that money going out, and more than $8,000 would come in as a result of that. So what I'm expecting now is, rather than this meaning that we have $60,000 less and we'll actually have to draw on some of our investments to pay for this, is that what this means, as we celebrate the money going out to the government, to help the finances of our country, it's one way of looking at it, to circulate money through the dental work that will be being done, to be grateful for the services that provide me with a mouthful of wonderful teeth, which has been my affirmation through this, is what I want, is just to have healthy, happy mouth of teeth. Is what we are absolutely certain of, is that this is going to, celebrating this money going out, means that instead of just in the thousands of dollars of unexpected income, we're expecting tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even hundreds of unexpected income to come in. And this, and what I'm palpably feeling is that it's raising my consciousness in a way by practicing this, by being certain of this, by having that expectation when it looks like there's $60,000 less, is expanding my consciousness much more than if I was just status quo and just, affirming it without having the challenge, which to challenge me to expand. I hope this is all making sense to you. And so I'm just delighted. I'm actually, and not to say there wasn't a challenge. The process is the practice that we do. And I think I'll guide you through the process again, which I've done in a few previous videos in recent weeks. And by the way, you can see all of our recent videos on YouTube, or just go to our Instagram. We've got our, IGTV series of these videos, and see the past ones. They're all, it's all leading up to this. And so I actually did the process a couple times, twice in the last week, when I was feeling a little bit challenged by this in the beginning. And within a week, I'm absolutely ecstatic about this money going out. Absolutely ecstatic. Feeling that it is causing my consciousness, my prosperity consciousness, to raise in ways that it could not if there wasn't the challenge. And so, absolutely enjoy about this. And so my encouragement to you is, when it looks like things are not going well financially, no matter how challenging they may feel, recognize that this is the perfect experience to raise your consciousness, your prosperity consciousness. So whatever, if you're experiencing an inflow of extra finance, then it means that's the perfect thing for you. If you're experiencing a decline in finance, or if it looks like you're being challenged financially, that is the perfect thing to raise your consciousness. And so, practice this, knowing that it's the perfect thing, number one. And what I'm sure will come to you, as it has to me, here's another thing that's happening, because this is what's come to me, just to finish that thought, is I'm now looking at other ways that we can easily and effortlessly bring in more prosperity, more financial abundance. And I know that creative ideas are going to come out of this that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And because we are dedicated to not working, everything we do is play, I know that these ideas that come will be within that context. Way to bring in extra tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, either without doing anything, because it just can pop into our hologram, to use some of the phrasing from the Course, or that, ways that we just decide, oh, there's an idea we can do, and all of a sudden, easily and effortlessly, fun ways to play and to serve come into our reality, or are implemented, that bring in more and more abundance. So that's how it works. It's never bad. As I'm going to bring forth this the quote from the book, and everything that I'm sharing is a demonstration of the truth to this quote. When you get to the place in consciousness where you realize it's no better to have $1 million than it is to owe $1 million, then you'll have the consciousness to create whatever you want with a snap of your fingers. Now that's an ideal, and that might sound pie in the sky, but what everything that I'm sharing is like, and I was trusting that for many years when I was just initially playing with these teachings. And trusting that is what has led to what we're experiencing now, and the ability to have a $60,000 decline and to be excited about it. So, even if you're playing with smaller numbers than that, or larger than numbers than that, there are people that might have just lost millions of dollars in this year for one reason or another, and feeling like this is a terrible thing. Play with it at that level, that this is the best thing that can happen. I might even, I'm going to paraphrase a quote from my probably one of my two favorite quotes in the world, in history. This is from Pam Grout. I'm going to paraphrase it since I don't have it right in front of me. Yeah, and it's something like this. When I align with a field of potential, which knows nothing but absolute contentment and perfect peace, then everything in life gets better. Simply aligning with the FP, the field of potential, brings everything that we could possibly want. So rather than letting the apparent reality, because the apparent reality is an illusion, dictate my inner feelings, all I have to do is align myself with the field of potential, which sees the face of God in everything, which knows perfect contentment. And I'm repeating myself a little bit because I'm stretching for the exact words, but you get the idea. So I want to share a little bit more about the dental experience yesterday. So that as they were pulling these teeth, one of them was a root canal tooth that had actually broken, and so it was pretty much shattered. So it was a really intense oral surgery process, and they gave me laughing gas, which was fun. and the guy is like, they're holding my jaw, and they're like, I won't go into any more detail. You get the picture. The first thing that came to me during this experience is how much I love my wife, and how much I know that no matter what our challenges are, physically, financially, that we've got each other back, that we support each other. And we've both been doing that, through these. She's had a health concern that she came back from the doctor yesterday, and she's all clear and she's feeling great. She was describing me to me today. It was so beautiful. I think I'm going to have her on our video next week. My beloved Karina Vieta Harbula. And she said she was at the gym today, and she was swimming, and she was singing out loud. There were people that were like, she didn't care if people were hearing her, but just joyously singing out loud, and just so appreciative of her legs and her arms and her physicality. And so she's an amazing woman, and she just teaches me all the time. So that's the first thing I was thinking about. Then my mind was going to, where this may be a challenge, as people are, inside my mouth doing crazy things. And often what I've thought about is the people in Ukraine who are, some of them are being killed, some of them are losing legs in battle, and so many people fleeing for safety into other countries. That's where my thoughts go, because more and more often these days, because we have it so good, there's so many blessings that we have, living the life that we're living, serving in the ways that we get to serve, living in this country with all of its flaws. There are plenty of flaws in our country, but man, we've got it so good compared to not just people in Ukraine, but there are people in so many countries, in so many places in the world that are suffering, that are oppressed. And so everything that we deal with that might be challenging us at this point are first world problems. So there's so much to be grateful for. I'm gonna throw out another quote that is so important, and comes up really often in my teaching and my coaching, that dissatisfaction repels everything that we want. Gratitude attracts everything that we want. What percentage of the day are you feeling dissatisfied compared to gratitude? It's a simple formula for the law of attraction. Because you can do, your affirmations in the morning, you can do your gratitude lists, but if the rest of the day you're dissatisfied because your computer isn't working right, or you break a tooth, or you've had a downfall of whatever, a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 or $10,000, right? Then guess what? You're going to be repelling everything that you want to create in life. If you're grateful that you have $60,000 to lose, or that you have, some teeth in your mouth at all, that you have the ability to get your teeth fixed. If you're in gratitude, then you're attracting all the things that you want to create in your life. It is as simple as that. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Wellness. Hi, Martino. Welcome to the video. So I'm going to guide you into the process from busting loose to the money game as we close out today. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and as always, if you like it, give us a like. If it inspires you, comment, give us a comment. If you know people that will benefit from this, share it. So here's the process. And the first step in the process, I'm going to remind you again, is diving into the discomfort that comes. And the process is not about fixing things or changing things, simply about claiming back power. And synonymous with claiming back power is simply stepping into a higher vibration of love, stepping into the truth about who we really are. So, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Think about anything that's challenging you in your life. The most challenging thing, or maybe there's even more than one thing. And just allow yourself to feel the discomfort that comes up with thinking about these situations in your life. And in fact, dive into the middle of the discomfort and expand it, magnify it, intensify it to the highest degree it can become, the highest intensity level that it can become, recognizing that the more intense the discomfort becomes, the more power that can be reclaimed. I'll give you a moment to arrive at the peak of intensity. And once you arrive at this peak, now we tell the truth about it. None of this is real in the absolute sense. All of it, everything that's manifested in the physical plane, has been created by my expanded self, the truth of who I am, for one purpose and one purpose only, that is to claim back power, to step into a higher vibration of love, to understand at the deepest level the truth of my being, the absolute truth. So say your universal affirmation out loud, which is simply the truth about how powerful you are. The example in the book is, I'm the power and presence of God or Spirit. Say your universal affirmation out loud, whatever most powerful words come to you. Take a deep healing breath, fully integrating the energy, the truth, the power in these words. Say it once more. For me, it's I am the power and presence of God. Deep healing breath, integrating this truth at an even deeper level. And now from the core of your being, like you truly, truly believe it, say it once more. Deep healing breath, fully integrating at the deepest level possible this essential truth of who you are. And now see and feel the power that was seemingly in the discomfort, draining out of the discomfort, coming back into your being, filling you up from the bottoms of your feet to the top of your head, overflowing like a golden fountain of light that cascades all around you, down through your energy field, deep into Mother Earth. And then it recycles and surges up through your being, even more powerfully than the first time, exploding out of the top of your head, more vibrant than the first time. And it continues to recycle in this way, down again, golden fountain of light, down through your energy field, deep into Mother Earth, all the way down into the core of Mother Earth, that molten, fiery core of Shakti energy that now surges up through Mother Earth, again exploding out of the top of your head, more brilliantly, more vibrantly. And it recycles in this way over and over again, each time becoming more powerful. A clear expression of pure spirit energy, pure light, pure love, pure peace, pure creativity. And now say your universal affirmation one final time. Feel the energy, the power, the truth of these words now surging through every aspect of your being. Your mind is completely and totally saturated with this truth. No other idea or belief is possible in this moment because it cannot stand up against the truth. Your emotional nature, your feeling nature is completely enveloped in this truth. No other feeling other than the power of this truth is possible in this moment. Your physical body and energy body are vibrating at the frequency of this essential truth of who you really are. Finally, take a nice deep breath and just relax into gratitude, because gratitude is the key. Gratitude for all the blessings in your life. Gratitude for the challenges in your life now, recognizing they're simply opportunities to claim back power, to feel this power, to live from this power, this truth, this expression and vibration of love. And finally, gratitude and appreciation for recognizing yourself as the expanded self, the soul self, who has choreographed everything, created everything, including popping this video into your hologram in this very moment in order to arrive at this moment of truth, this moment of peace, this moment of power, this moment of pure unconditional love. This is who you are. And so it is. All right, my friends, blessings to you. Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you next Thursday. And once again, comment, share, and have a fantastic weekend. All right, we love you.